Oh, hi, Stephen Nicholas here. Going to do a quick little 5-panel sequence and you can join right along with me. Here's the hardest part of the whole process, getting the lines so that you have 5 more or less same size panels. On the big board here, I'm just going to go across and make 4 lines, and then I'm going to end up with 5 panels. And I probably got too much up there, I can tell already. Not enough, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, not enough down here in the bottom 2. But it's always next time. So a story is anything you want. It could be something you feel good about. It could be something you want to change. And it's usually easy to work with little irritations and problems you're having with relating with other people, only because they're more obvious and they cause us more trouble. So think of something that happened in one of your relationships or an internal one where you were having some difficult feelings. And let's see, I'm going to think of an incident yesterday where I didn't respond resourcefully in the way I would have liked to have with my wife. Now, I'm not drawing this first picture so that anybody can understand. Nobody needs to understand these stories that you're putting up to other than yourself. The reason I say that is because it's important to appreciate that there is no audience. You're the only one, I'm the only one that really has to make sense of this. So when you watch this video and you can't tell what this is, it really doesn't matter. Fill in your own details. But I'm going to put up 2 people here. And I'm such a great drawing enthusiast that I use stick figures. So here I am with a little bit of a growly face there, a couple of eyes and nose. And here's my wonderful, thoughtful, loving wife who puts up with so much from me sometimes. And here she is offering me a little bit of feedback that I tend to misunderstand. I kind of get it like this big red eye thing that's coming from her to me. Usually, or at least sometimes, that's not actually the case. So then I kind of respond back with the big stink eye, and then we've got just a little problem. So that's for me what the story looks like. Now down here, what I want to do is notice the feelings that I have about this story. And then I'm going to invite my imagination to translate those feelings into color and pattern. And so since they're a little, like that, I'm going to put a little of this nice yellow in there, one of my favorite colors, and then red. And sometimes, if it's really kind of a bit of a tussle, it might, for me, be a little bit of black in there. That kind of represents the color and the pattern and the movement for me of the feelings with that drawing. Now the interesting thing, this is pretty easy. Once you get a story, translate your feelings into color and pattern, and then this is where it gets interesting. This is where you want to use your imagination. How would I like to feel in that situation? In some ideal circumstance, how would I really like to feel when I'm having these kinds of conversations? Well, I'd like it to flow in a really different way, in a little different color. Nice blue there. And I would like maybe a little green with that. For me, that's a color that kind of denotes grass and trees. The blue is kind of water symbolic for me. And that's going to be a much more enjoyable feeling to have with this story. And then I've identified how I do feel, how I want to feel. Down here, panel 4, is the panel that I'm going to imagine what is the resource that's going to actually allow me to have this feeling about my story rather than this feeling. So this really requires creativity and imagination because I don't know. So what I'm allowing to happen is my imagination to begin creating a felt sense of this resource. And I'm going to find it by thinking about, any number of different things. My history, people that I know that are more resourceful than I, that may be good models to use. The ocean, a mountain, standing up, looking out, feeling calm and centered, being able to imagine all this energy coming at me, but it just goes right around me, doesn't cause me to have this kind of an experience. So any number of different ways I begin to imagine, and you can begin to imagine, what's the resource that's going to be powerful enough to help me move from this to this. Now I've stopped talking for a minute for allow that sense to come up, so give me a few seconds here. I got a little sense here or something. I'm just going to play with it. Don't have to take it too seriously. I got some nice blue squiggles there. I'm going to grab a different green. I'm going to grab more of a forest green. And then I look at it and I see, does it feel like the resource I want to feel, even though I don't totally know what it is using words. So now I've done the hard work. I've taken a story that's a little challenging for me. I've expressed those feelings as color and pattern. I've imagined what feelings I want to have. And then I've used my imagination even more intensely to identify a resource in the felt sense in my body of that resource. And then I put that out there as color and pattern. And now I'm ready to draw a new story. I've done the work here in the middle, and now this story doesn't fit anymore. So I'm going to create and express this transformation as a new story. Once again, I'm the only audience. I don't have to be talented, and nobody has to understand it. All right, so I kind of like this pink color. Put that down here. Oh, another one of those wonderful stick figures. And for me this time, I'm going to use this nice light blue. Oh, boy, the talent is amazing with my drawing skills. This time, what comes to mind as I'm doing this is this green energy flowing out and over here that I can breathe in and work with and have this kind of an experience with. So that's it. It's real simple. Don't have to spend a lot of time. The challenge is coming up with some interesting story, using your imagination to convert feeling into color and pattern, and then creating the new story. So my beginning story, expression of my feeling as color and pattern, imagining how I want to feel, translating that to color and pattern, and then imagining the resource. And I have to use my imagination in some way, because if I already had the resource, I wouldn't be drawing this picture. And that looks like this, and then my new drawing down below. So go ahead on. If you didn't practice it with me, take a couple minutes and go create another 5-panel sequence as part of your 30-day challenge. Good talking to you. Look forward to the next time. Take care. Excuse me, I have to go turn off the camera now.